Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And how are we all today? Well, as you can see, it's an absolutely fantastic day. As for our spot of rain we were supposed to have had yesterday, well, luckily, it never transpired. So, as you can see today, it's a beautiful morning. Little bit chilly, but as long as you're in the sun, you're warm. I've actually put a little jacket on because I was writing some of the news on the balcony this morning, and so I put my I had to go in the house and put my jacket on. So as you can see, it's a beautiful morning. Just a few little clouds in the sky, nothing to be worried about. And down there we see the birds, dun dun dun, all trogging about. Whether they're going to come up on the back. In fact, they've been rather well behaved this morning. Not been running about. And if you look down there, I might actually see if I can go down the side of the house and see if we can still get a signal. If you look down there, you can just see some little baby chicks over there. Whoops, over there in the little corral over there. Let's have a look. Let's zooming in. See the little chicks there with their mum walking about in there. So yeah, it's an absolutely glorious morning this morning. I wish the news was as glorious, that is for sure. But anyway, that's it, looking over that part of the house. There's Dorothy down there, one of our chickens that we've named. Oh, God, they're all massing now. Mr. Cockerel as well. Going over to the back of the house then, looking towards Laguna and also towards Kalamaki. Oh, God, absolutely fantastic in the sun here. Really, really lovely. Absolutely beautiful weather at the moment, and as you can see, we're inching our way closer to a summer. We're inching our way closer to Easter. You are about to get Easter this weekend, and I've been hearing that people have been taking advantage of the change of the rules and that you're allowed now to mix in the UK, and people have been going to the parks and they've been going out onto the beaches as well, and people have been moaning. Oh, God. For God's sake, get a life, enjoy it while you can. You're only young once. Your infection rate in the UK has dropped off like off a cliff, all right? And Boris has still got certain parts of your society locked down, like your bars and your restaurants, but people at least are allowed to go out. And I feel sorry for the small businesses, the small pubs and restaurants who are seeing these hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people turning up. I'm thinking of Margate at the moment. And guess what? They can't get a drink. They can't get anything to eat. The supermarkets are doing very nicely, as always, because people have to go there to get what they want to get. And then obviously disappear down to the beach. So my lovely people over in Margate, keep me posted as to what's happening there. Because again, it reminds me of last year. Exactly the same situation. Fantastic weather. And where was everybody? At the supermarket, Sainsbury's, Tesco's, getting their supplies before going down onto the beach. And all those businesses lost out on a lot of money because the weather was nice. So anyway, that's my little rant out the way this morning. I'm just going to quickly switch my picture around. And here I am, back again. Right, okay. Let's go through the serious bit now and look at the news for the last 24 hours here in Greece. And I've got to be honest, it's not boding well at the moment. 31st of March, can you believe it's the end of the month? My God, April Fool's Day tomorrow. Anyway, 31st of March, it's a Wednesday. It's day 146 of the lockdown. COVID in the last 24 hours here in Greece. The infection rate has just done an absolute record high. At the moment, we've had 4,340 new infections recorded across the country. That's up a considerable amount when you think yesterday I'd reported to you 1,724 to have 4,340. That's a big jump, but it's also a record high jump as well across the country, bringing the total number of infections since the pandemic started to 260,077 since it all started started last year. Anyway, new cases into the country. In fact, I didn't put that figure in, but they were up yesterday to 22. Silly me, I forgot to put that figure in. Anyway, according to the national stats yesterday, there was 1 new case in Lefkada. We had 10 new cases in Kefalonia. We had 15 cases in Corfu. And Zakynthos recorded 13 new cases on the island. Now, I was a bit worried about this 13 new cases because there was nothing about infections during the day or anything of that nature. However, during the night, that has been updated so we get a true picture because the problem sometimes with the national stats, they're sometimes out of sync with what is actually going on the ground. So anyway, during yesterday then, we did have 11 positive cases recorded on Zakynthos. This involved 6 men and 5 women. No ages or anything like that has been released about who the people are. Normally we get an age and a sex, but no, just 6 men, 5 women. Now, the individuals all had mild symptoms. They have been placed into home quarantine for 14 days. And until last night, 5 people were being treated at the COVID clinic of Zakynthos. So we got 5 people at the moment in the COVID clinic. We did have 7. And that number has dropped slightly. So some people are getting better and going home, as most majority of people seem to do. Anyway, Zakynthos at the moment, unfortunately, we still remain in deep red status. And I will continue to check on those cases as well throughout the day. But it's not looking good for us. It also paints a bad picture for the island. But certain urban areas, especially the capital, are having far worse numbers than what we're having, that is for sure. And also, just to remind you as well, our case rate for Zakynthos at the moment with our figures puts us at 56.43 per 100,000 inhabitants, even though we don't have 100,000 inhabitants on the island. We've got about 38,000, but they mathematically rejiggle everything. That's how we would figure in the standard, all right? Anyway, at the moment then, that brings the total amount of cases since the beginning of the year. And I've just realised I haven't put those in at the moment. But that's over 300, add 11 to... That puts us at about 270 odd cases that we've had since the beginning of the year, all right? And this month, again, we've had about 170 odd cases for the month of March. So again, that's not good for us. Right, as it comes for deaths then, deaths also across the country have gone up. We had 65 deaths reported yesterday. At the moment, Greece has had 72 new deaths. Once again, our condolences to those families that are affected. That brings the death toll now up to 8,017. Most of those people who passed away, the average age was 79, and 96.4% of those had underlying health problems or were over the age of 70. So the death rate, just for your own reference, in 2019, the daily death rate for Greece would be around about 329 deaths a day, from other causes, because COVID did not exist at that time. And of course, Zakynthos, we've only had 3 deaths so far this year. One in February, a 70-year-old woman. Then we had 2 ladies in March who passed away, a 74-year-old and an 80-year-old as well. Now, when it comes to critical cases, this is the thing that's really worrying the Greek government at the moment. Critical cases across Greece are up from 738 yesterday up to 741 today. That is 468 males, 273 female. The average age of critical patients at the moment is around about 68 years of age, and 86% of those have underlying health problems or are over the age of 70. And once again, just to remind you, we have 5 people in our COVID clinic here in Zakynthos. No mention about anybody occupying the intensive care beds, but there are 5 people in the COVID clinic. That number is down on 7 that were reported last week. Right, today's news then. As I've already said, yet more disturbing statistics are coming to light on Tuesday, as the Greek health officials stated that the majority of incubated coronavirus patients are aged between 35 to 50, and dozens of people are now waiting outside ICU units. Mantina Pagoni, the president of the Athens and Piraeus Hospital Doctors Association, said that the 70% of patients currently being treated for COVID-19 in hospitals around Greece are quite young, under the age of 50 years of age. Speaking in an interview on Sky TV, Greek Sky, Pagoni stated that it is tragic to have incubated people who are 35 to 50 years of age and who do not suffer from any underlying health problems whatsoever. The Greek Parliament was also briefed on coronavirus yesterday. The health officials said that the increase in coronavirus cases, which reached yet another record on Tuesday, was due to the swift spread of variants which have an increased transmissibility of 40 to 60% among younger people. Parliamentary parties were briefed by the Health Minister Vasilis Kaalis on Tuesday about the state of the ICU capacities at Greek hospitals. He was joined by Maria Theodoulou, head of the National Vaccination Committee and Infectious Diseases Professor Skorotis Tissoudouris, who also briefed the parties. Now, according to Kalalis, there are currently a total of 1,483 beds operating in ICUs nationally, 1,222 at the National Health System hospitals, 220 at private clinics, and 41 at military hospitals. Of these, 891 are in ICUs dedicated to COVID-19 patients exclusively. 592 are operating in non-COVID-19 ICUs. And as I've said to you before, as far as I'm aware, we have 4 intensive care beds here in Zakynthos, and we have the capacity now for 19 patients in the COVID clinic in total. And we had that number increased just last week because the hospital was worried about numbers. Anyway, talking about the hospital again now, the commander of the Zakynthos General Hospital, Mr. George Ragoulis, objected to the unfounded allegations that the alleged lack of reagents and stated categorically that there is a fully sufficient COVID-19 molecular analysis reagents. Basically, they're talking about testing. Mr. Regalis stated that the doctors at the hospital who are in charge of sorting and examining the suspected and confirmed cases of COVID-19 are the ones materially responsible for deciding to carry out molecular tests in accordance with the current Greek health guidelines. To them, as well as to the hospital nurses, paramedics, administrators and technicians, they all deserve the utmost respect for their tremendous and heroic contribution in tackling the COVID-19 pandemic, he said. Everything else that is heard or is written hides expediencies. The administrator and the administration of the Zakynthos Hospital fully respects the health and anxiety of citizens who have suffered so much from the COVID-19 pandemic. So basically, there was rumours going around that the doctors didn't have enough tests to be able to cope with what was going on. They didn't have enough of the reactive agents used within the tests as well. But obviously, the doctor is now saying, yes, they have enough, and probably more than enough, obviously, to be able to do the testing that they are doing at the moment. Anyway, just interestingly, our neighbours, Italy, who are just across the road from us in the other direction, Italy is introducing a 5-day mandatory quarantine for all travellers entering the country. The latest measures now includes travellers from other European countries. Italy, like most EU countries, is suffering from high levels of new infections and low rates of vaccinations. And of course, Italy were one of the first countries to go into lockdown over a year ago. And obviously the lockdown for them has not worked. And as I said all along, the virus should have been allowed to take, so we say, a natural course, and people get herd immunity from it, protect the vulnerable to protect the old. And now this is what's happening. We're now paying for it with the virus changing its tactics and obviously now re-evolving. As you see, we've heard of the Kent virus, we've heard of the South American virus, even a Japanese variant as well. And the virus now is attacking younger people. So again, we'll keep our eyes out on that. Some good news then, and this is good news. Zakynthos will have an Airlink with Thessaloniki this year with a Spanish airline. Yeah, a Spanish airline called Volotea is going to be flying from Thessaloniki down to Zakynthos. Anyway, the route, which will operate twice a week, and the first flight will take place on June the 3rd this year. Now, this is expected to facilitate those who want to travel to and from Thessaloniki and then go on to Zakynthos, while it will be a further air connection for tourists coming from neighbouring countries and passing through Thessaloniki. Now, if you take the bus journey, Jane and I have done this, and it's quite a nice journey. The bus journey is about just under 12 hours long to get from Zakynthos all the way up to Thessaloniki. So, of course, having this direct flight there, that's obviously going to be good for the island. Also, it means as well that you can get to Thessaloniki quickly and get back again quickly. I'm not sure if this is just running for the sake of the charter season, looking at the size of the aircraft that have been laid on for that. But again, it's another connection. Also, it's another way that people can get to Zakynthos from the city of Greece, Thessaloniki itself. That's the second largest city in Greece, and obviously do a holiday here when everything starts to get back to normal. And they're obviously hedging their bets by starting these flights in June, but hopefully we'll be out of lockdown before June, and we'll be having a season starting as well of sorts. All right. Also as well, another bit of news reference the Dutch. Okay, Transavia Air will connect, which connect to Amsterdam with Corfu, Attico, and also Zakynthos. They're going to be operating for another season. I'm just going to concentrate on what we're going to get from them in the season coming. They're going to start flights, believe it or not, from the 15th of May. Okay, there will be 5 flights per week to Zakynthos, and they'll be on a Monday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Saturday, and a Sunday. While from the 13th of July, there will be a flight every Tuesday as well. So that's good news for us. And also because we are wanting the Dutch to come because they are normally the first, shall we say, international market to turn up. Traditionally, they've been the first country into Zakynthos. And I know where Magdalena's bar is. We're surrounded by what are now a lot of Dutch hotels. So if they're going to come the 15th of May, it might mean that we might be opening Magdalena's bar for around about that date, and we might get what we could see as a proper season underway. Fingers crossed. But we obviously are waiting for the arrival of the British. And at the moment, with what's happening with the Brits, God knows, it's absolute madness, as you know. £5,000 fines if you're caught trying to leave the country. What madness is that? Plus as well, there is rumours and whingings of talking of August before international travel is being allowed. And fingers crossed that does not happen. We need the British. The Dutch look like they're on their way back. And just a quick reminder about the Dutch. This April, they're going to be running this grand experiment at the moment over in Rhodes. 188 Dutch people, and they're paying for this. They're not getting this for free, all right, to add to this holiday. They're all going to be booked into an all-inclusive hotel in Rhodes. They're going to be monitored there while they're in the hotel. They're going to be tracked. And the only people allowed into that hotel will be the staff that work there and obviously the guests that are staying there. And they're going to be tested to see how COVID works its way through them while they're on holiday. Now, I think that's a fantastic experiment. The only flaw in it that I can see is that they are confined to the hotel. They're not allowed to leave the hotel. They must stay in it. If they're going to run it, why not have 2 hotels, one where people have to stay and the other where people can move freely about. So if they want to go out at night, they can go out. Not that there's probably anything open, all right, but at least they can go out during the day, go down the beach somewhere, etc. And I think that would have been just a cleverer way of running that experiment, just to do a comparison between the two, all right. And Corfu at the moment, Rhodes at the moment, I'm not sure what their infection rate has been like, But again, if they're prepared to take the risk, then obviously it's for the benefit of everybody. All right. So anyway, I'll keep an eye on this story because I do think that that is a positive. And I wish they do that here. Why not run the same kind of thing here? Take one of the all-inclusive hotels and again, let people move about, track them, trace them, and obviously test them for COVID before they come, test them for COVID before they leave, and just see exactly what happened. If you remember last year, there was all this paranoia. Oh, the tourists are going to come. They're going to bring the infection with them. We're all going to die. And it didn't happen. All right. It didn't happen. In fact, we were just the victims of circumstance here in Zakynthos because of what was going on other islands, mainly Mykonos and Santorini. We got tarred with the same brush. And we did have some unscrupulous people who came over and said that they caught COVID here on Zakynthos and caused a merry hell over in Portsmouth, also in Scotland. And then we had all the students who came over who basically wanted to catch COVID, running around kissing people, breaking social contact, who basically wanted to disrupt their year at their next year at school by obviously being locked down because their school was technically caught COVID while away in Greece. Anyway, hopefully that lunacy will disappear because at the end of the day, we've got to get back to work. We've got to get the economies up and running and we've got to start living with it. We're not going to defeat it. We've got to start living with it. Right. Okay. And the final story. Oh, no. Another story for you. Zakynthos. Again, not good news. Zakynthos Police Department yesterday arrested a 40-year-old foreigner. Notice the word foreigner. That could be an Albanian or it could be an expat, all right, for drug trafficking. The foreigner was arrested in Latakia, of all places, and was found to be in possession of 310 grams of hashish, and he's expected to be before the prosecutor at some time today. So again, we'll keep an ear out and see what the outcome of that was. And finally, a nice little bit of good news. If you like YouTube, you're going to love this family. Now, there's a family by the names of Theo, Maria, Alexandros and Marina. They're a Greek family and they've got a little YouTube channel and they've become a bit of a sensation. Basically, they've been traveling the world with their children. Alexandra and Maria. They've got children and they have been putting up online during the lockdown their travels. Anyway, it's actually Theo is the father and Maria is the mother. They both got different surnames, so I'm not going to complicate things with that. All right. So they said their aim was to highlight their experiences of getting out and about with their two young children, who at the age of 8 months was a baby, one of them, Alexandros, who was crossing North America from the west coast of Alaska to San Diego as a toddler. And then Marina, who is the little girl, who was then seen with orangutans in the jungle of Borneo before reaching her second birthday. Anyway, thanks to the globetrotting parents who refused to give up their love for travelling and their two children, now aged 9 and 3, they have already travelled to 32 countries. They have travelled to 32 and 16 countries respectively, gaining an invaluable real-life education. Maria, she's actually a Greek language teacher in Athens, says, we have been travelling the world with the children since they were born, and very often our friends were asking, are you crazy going with the children? All this travel, how do you manage? Anyway, just to let you know, the clips actually, their little stories are in Greek, but they have got English subtitles. And they've been traveling all around the world from Borneo to Tunisia, and they've been to Mexico and Guatemala, and those trips are soon to come up online. So if you've got nothing to do and you're trying to waste a bit of time, go on YouTube, check out the little Greek family on their world travels, and see what you think. Anyway, let's have a quick news. I've got a few people tuning in at the moment, so we're going to quickly say hello to you. Chris Jones is there. Give you a wave, Chris Jones. And Elias Willis is also tuning. Julia Meldrum is watching. Ian Booth is watching. Nice to see you. Hilary Rogers is there. Lovely to have you looking in, Hilary. Tim Crystal in Oxford is tuning in as well. Morning there, buddy. How you doing? Hilary also says morning, Ginge. Thank you, Hilary. Andy Johnson is watching as well. John Clifford says morning from Shagarosia in Broccolese, sizzling weather here. So it's warm in John's country. But not in his mind. It's definitely warm there where you are. Anyway, John David Hester is watching as well. Seamus J. Mackey is watching too. Andy Owen is watching. Andy Owen says, morning, Ginge. Have a good one. Trust me, I will have a good one today, Andy. Andrew the Fridge Watkins is watching as well. Julie Meldrum says, good morning, Ginge. Yes, it's a beautiful day here in Zakynthos. It certainly is, my lovely. I hope the weather's nice in your part of the island as well. Anyway, Dave Cramp says, good morning, good morning, good morning. Automatically translated. It's not working. It's not working. It's already preempting you, mate. There you go. That's Dave Cramp there who's saying that to me. Trying to say it in Greek, but it's translating for me. John David Hester says, morning, Jane. Morning, Ginge. Hope you and Jane are well. Yeah, we are fantastic today. Pam Stott is also tuning in. Lisa Goodhue is tuning in as well. Nikos from Obelix Restaurant is tuning in as well. Lovely to see you as well tuning in, fella. I bet you wish you were open. He says, good morning from Zanti-town. So he's in town at the moment. Oh, Nikos doing some administration, I would think, ready for the season. Steve Hinkling in Stoke-on-Trent is tuning in. Jamie McKay Gunn is also tuning in as well. Sean Bowen is up there on Exmoor. He says, Ginge, Gallimera, another beautiful day over Exmoor. 21 degrees Celsius, maybe 23. Absolutely fantastic. Steve Hinkling has said in Stoke-on-Trent at the moment, it was 21 degrees yesterday afternoon, and it gives the same for today. So the weather in the UK at the moment is absolutely awesome. Get yourself out and about and go meet people in the park. There you go. That's what you got to do. Christopher Lloyd James is watching as well. Paul Markham is watching. Sid James, he's watching as well. Give him a wave. Morning, Sid. He says, morning, Ginge. Sue Saint is watching as well. Sue Saint is watching. Shane Pan is watching. Nigel Steer is watching. Sue Moore is watching. Let's have it. Anybody got any comments? Let's have a look. Good morning, Ginge, from sunny and going to be a lovely warm day in Margate. Do me a favour, Patsy Ann, just see how busy your beaches are during the day, if you can get around that way. Don't want to put you out your way or anything else like that. And how many people from London are going to come down all the way to Margate for what could be, well, they won't be able to stay anywhere, as far as I'm aware, Easter weekend, unless it's with family. But again, just keep an eye on the beach. How's it doing? How many people? And of course, all your bars, your restaurants, they're all closed. Absolute madness. Oh, God, what an Easter. And I've even heard now that you're not allowed to use the word Easter anymore. It's chocolate eggs. No more Easter eggs or April eggs. As the woke brigade think now that the word of Easter, like the word Christmas now, is not to be invoked. You try doing that here in Greece, I'll tell you what, there'd be an absolute riot. Anyway, I'm not going to go there. It's going too nuts. Anyway, Nick Haviland is also watching. Old Sleswick is tuning in as well. Howard Sleswick, nice to see you tuning in, buddy. Zanti Pete says, good morning from a sunny Milton Keynes. Have a great day on our favourite rock around the world. Bless you. Thank you for that. And we are a lovely rock of an island. There you go. Jeanette Fowler is also watching as well. Phil Ellis is watching. Ian Daly is watching as well. Nice to have you tuning in, Ian. Steve Henley is watching. Morning, mate. Did you see that report I sent? I seen it, but I haven't had a chance to really analyse it and look at it. But I will have a look at that when I get a moment. Teresa Ann Huggett is watching. Christine Brown is watching. Catherine Ling is watching. Jane McGrath is watching. Nice to see you yesterday at the vets. Oh, and the verdict on our little cat from the vets. Yes, she is pregnant. We're a bit worried about her because she's FIV and we're not sure if she's going to be able to carry her kittens. But anyway, the vet checked her over, said, no, I think she's going to be all right. So we're going to be parents, all right, again, or grandparents, shall we say. Little Sweetie, we're going to see. In fact, we didn't expect Sweetie to live more than 6 months because when she came to us, she looked a real, we called her Scraggy Cat at first. And then we said, no, we can't call her Scraggy Cat. That's not right. So we call her Sweetie. And to be honest, we've had her nearly 2 years now. And she's got pregnant. So we think she may have had kittens before, but we never saw them because she disappeared away. And with her health being the way it is, we're going to be very keen to see if she actually manages to have the kittens. So fingers crossed, she's going to be all right, but we'll wait and see. Anyway, Lyndon is also tuning in. He says, hello, mate. Dennis is also tuning in. Nice to see you, Dennis, as well, tuning in. Gary Butler is here. Donna Mills is watching. Rosewood, Bob Monroe, Paula Catterton, Gallimera, Catherine Lee, John Paul Porter from Florida is also tuning in. Nice to see you, sir. I haven't had a chance yet to check out your sermon, but I will have a look and see how well you do, sir. Anyway, he says, keep it up. Love, sweetie. Bless him. Thank you very much. Right. Paddy Brolly is now so tuning in. Now, there's a blast from the past. Paddy Brolly, I know your name, from Northern Ireland. Nice to have you tuning in there, Paddy. Also, Shane Bowen, he says, I like their hen with the kittens. Bless. Do you know what? Somebody sent me that on TikTok and it's just gone nuts. If you haven't seen it, it's on my Facebook page. There's a hen sat in a basket in a barn. And when you go and pick the hen up, there's 3 little kittens underneath the hen. And to be honest, in our experience, we've, as you know, lots of chickens, lots of little chicks running about, and never has any of our cats ever gone after any of the little chicks. Yes, they'll go after the swifts and the swallows and the little birds, but they won't go after the chicks. And I think the reason is cats hardwired into their DNA know that chickens are for the humans. And when cats were guarding the grain silos way back to keep the rats and the mice out of the grain silos, they realised that the chickens, they also had their part to play because they were fed from some of the grain from the silos, and the humans were looking after the chickens. So they thought, best not to eat the hand that feeds us by eating the little chickens, so we'll leave them alone. However, trust me, the chickens, the cats don't want to mess with the chickens, because if the chickens have a little bit of a mardy on, they sure let the cats know. And so I think there's a kind of a good relationship between cats and chickens. So I think those little kittens underneath that hen are going to be quite safe, and they're going to think they're chickens. That's what's going to happen. They're going to start clucking and think that they are not cats, but they're actually chickens. Bless. Don't try and eat a cat, though, please. Anyway, I've got to go. John Mims is watching. Paddy Brolly has sent me the luck of the Irish and a big thumbs up. Thank you there, fella. Once again, just to remind you, it's a broadcast day today for me, Wednesday, my Requests and Inspirations show. I've already seen some requests some people have sent me. I'm on air live from Studio One in Macardo at 3 o'clock your time in the UK, which is 5 o'clock my time here. And it'll be the last show of March. Can you believe that? Because tomorrow it's April Fool's Day. Anyway, so if you want to request a dedication, or if you want a jukebox memory, a jukebox that you loved somewhere, there was a tune that you used to hear being played on it, let me know what the tune was. Let me know where the jukebox was and the memory that's attached to it. And I'll stick that in my jukebox memories section on today's show. And again, the Golden Vault, if you're celebrating something, let me know what it is, and I will play you a #1 record on that day, whatever it may be. One thing, if you're born on that day, you can't choose your #1 record, you get given it. Sometimes it's a good reflection of the person you may grow up to be. All right? So anyway, I'm going to have to go. Quick shout out to Mick Noakes. Nice to have you tuning in, fella. And I will see you later today with Requests and Inspirations, 3 o'clock UK time, which is 5 o'clock Greek time. Ta-ra. Oh, I'll keep my ear to the ground and give you any more information as I get it. Ta-ra.